Meowth, and certainly both Hot Meowth and Muzzy are favorites. But we're actually going to be getting into the match of Hot Meowth's new teammate. We've been following rayC versus Astrogation. We're going to be getting into game number 3. So far, it is 1-1. rayC has a win with his Miracle Rogue, and Astrogation has a win with his Reno Mage. Ray's lineup is actually exactly the same as Hot Meowth's, which we just saw, unfortunately for Muzzy, destroy him in 3 games.
But Astrogation is not playing a Rogue at all, so we'll not see a 8-8 win on turn 2 this time. But we're jumping into the Pirate Warrior versus Reno Warlock, so something that we had seen for the entire day.
Yeah, it's nothing too unusual. Pirate Warrior really just sticking to the Pirate Warrior plan. In a lot of the Reno matchups, you kind of just need to smork and hope that they don't have Reno or Kazakus or any longevity tools. That's rayC's plan.
That is the risk assessment that you have to do in those matches, because you're aware that your opponent has only one-offs in his deck. So what are the chances of him having a Hellfire in his hand? What are the chances of Demon Wrath? What are the chances of Kazakus, and so on? And very important is just paying attention to the mulligan. If you see that your opponent just kept like 2 cards, you might be almost certain that in this matchup he might have the AoE effect, right? So you can either bait it out, you can kind of see what is happening with your opponent's hand and read the informations because of that. So it's crucial to pay attention to mulligan and which card stays in the hand, which one is being drawn, which one is being used. I think it matters even more in this kind of matchup than in the usual ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly several auto keep cards for the Reno Warlock. But nevertheless, Ray has had some pretty straightforward turns thus far. He got Life Tap off of Finley, which is, Life Tap and Steady Shot essentially are the 2 that you're going for in pretty much every single matchup. In the mirror, sometimes, Shapeshift or Lesser Heal even are okay, but especially against Reno Warlock, you need fuel and you need it fast. So Ray has managed to curve out very well so far and rolling right into the Arcanite Reaper really cleanly. Astro's hand is not bad, but what does Astrogation have to do to really win this game?
Well, he needs to draw Reno. That's the thing. Is he playing Fellfire Potion? I think he is. He is actually playing Fellfire Potion, so this is also a card which might help him because of the fact that Ray is so much like overextending like crazy here, right? But the fact, why is he overextending is because of the fact that he has 2 Soulsea Captains, so he knows that he's getting more value out of those minions because they buff each other and other pirates as well. Right now, Astrogation is just doing whatever is necessary to stay alive till the point where he just gets the Kazakus, gets the Reno, just to try to stabilize.
Well, that is, that's 5, 9, 13, 14, 18, 19 with the upgrade. Well, I believe that's actually going to close out the game right here. Ray's counting it up. That was a really just another quick game, Lothar.
It
seems to be that we're kind of in that groove now.
Seems so. We have a really aggressive metagame here in North America. So let's see what will be the game 4. That was kind of crazy. But to be honest, Astrogation didn't have a lot of options for the first turns, right? But keep in mind, he actually destroyed the Arcanite Reaper. If that wouldn't have been destroyed, then the additional 5 damage would have been finishing up the game.
Yeah, it would have just been guaranteed lethal.
Yeah.
And like we were saying, rayC and Hot Meowth are playing the exact same lineup, so it makes sense that they, right out of the gate, have had some very aggressive finishes. So we're getting right into game number 4, rayC on the Aggro Shaman and Astrogation on the Reno Warlock. A quick greetings, because as we all know, you gotta say hello to the patches when he is played from your hand on turn 1.
Sometimes it happens, you won't be happy about it, but at the same time, I feel like Shaman is the only class that it might still benefit from having patches in hand solely because of the fact that they have access to Flame Totem. So you can still do something with the patches because it has charge, it can be buffed to the free attacks, so it's not that bad, right? It's not terrible. But of course it's not nice when you lose basically a draw.
Yeah, that's certainly the drawback of putting patches in the deck. With the Aggro Shaman, you have enough pirates that obviously would not play patches, but you run the risk of losing a little bit of value. The Flame Tongue Totem is incredibly impactful for Ray here, though. Essentially, it's 2 mana, deal 4 damage, and it's repetitive damage, which is incredibly efficient. And he's going to be looking to get as much value out of that as he possibly can. Astrogation, just rolling into Refreshment Vendor on turn 4, trying to fight this board as much as he can. Forces a trade for Ray, but 2 Flame Tongue Totems is still not a bad board.
It's not a bad board. It requires attention from Astrogation. I wouldn't be surprised that he will just use his Hellfire on the next turn, especially if the Falcons will get played on the board, and it actually might get played because of the fact that rayC is kind of low on resources. I mean, he has another weapon.
I mean, Ray goes coin Feral Spirits, Astrogation has Hellfire. That is a full clear, huge punish for rayC here. But you know what? It's aggro chunk. Much like Pirate Warrior, it's a very all-in deck. Sure, it has more mid-range tools than the Pirate Warrior, but there are just some games that you're not going to win. And you know, in that case,
I'm really surprised by that play, to be honest. You know?
Yeah.
He had access to hero power to Falnos. When you play Falnos on this board, it's still free attack minion. So basically, it's almost the same damage as the Feral Spirits, right? And even the hero power is fine when you have 2 Phantom Totems on board. So I'm really surprised by that because they overextended into a Hellfire, which is insane punish. And I feel like even if he would just play a hero power, the Hellfire was just a given to be played, you know?
Yeah, the 2 Flame Tongues, I feel certainly would have baited the Hellfire, but like we were saying before, with a Reno deck, there are 30 unique cards, and it's still really early on in the game, so to take the gamble about them not having Hellfire, yeah, obviously Ray thought it was worth it, and you know, if Astrogation had not have had Hellfire, rayC would have just completely blown out this game. So sometimes you have to, like Hot Meowth was saying, take those risks.
And it might also be a factor that he's winning 2-1. So maybe he was just like, yeah, I'm in the lead, I have an advantage, let's go all in.
Yeah, feels
let's
like
try
he
to
could
finish
close
the
out
game
the game.
as soon.
There's a difference between confidence and like overconfidence and calculated confidence. And I think in this case, this was a good example of calculated confidence, because if he had, you know, had that board stick, he would have essentially just won this game. So he's still gonna have a chance to come back in it. Flame Wreath Faceless is, of course, everybody's favorite 4-drop, and still no Reno in the hand for Astrogation. So Astro gonna need to just keep dealing with the board. He does have plenty of tools to do it, however.
The Blast Crystal Potion is insanely powerful in this example. It doesn't matter if it destroys your mana crystal, because most likely you're not gonna need it anyway. Even like this is turn 7, right? Sorry, turn 8, and you destroy one of your mana crystals. That means you basically pay 2 more for the Blast Crystal, but what you gain is tempo. And that is more important in this matchup than just losing a mana crystal.
Especially since your opponent is losing tempo on the following turn because they're overloaded for 2 from the Flame Wreath Faceless. So Ray going all face, it makes sense. He's got spell damage, he's got Lava Burst in hand, and that's a Reno Jackson if I'm not mistaken. So yet another punish, and from here this game is all Astrogation. Yeah, rayC gonna rightfully concede that one. Do you ever just get those moments when you know it's all over and you just kind of chuckle, escape, concede, and it's time to move
I love that reaction, you know, when someone's just like, yeah, I have the Reno, and the other player's like, yeah, escape, click,
let's go,
done. It's just like, oh my god, it's finished. I know that I don't have enough damage in my deck to just plow through again the 30 HP, right? So it's satisfying to play that Reno Jackson, although people kind of hate on him, you know?
You know, I can kind of understand. Reno Jackson certainly has stolen many games from me in my time, but you know, we have very little time left with Reno, so you can only hate on him for so much longer. We're actually going to get into game number 5 right now. It is tied up 2-2, Astrogation and rayC. It is the Pirate Warrior versus the Aggro Shaman. Both players are 3-2, Lothar, so if they lose, they're basically out. And patches in the hand for rayC.
Again, second time in a row.
Hurts me because he's my only remaining pick on the board, and now TJ is going to look like more of a genius. Feels bad, Pat.
Let's not go that far with TJ, you know?
I mean, he's already confident. We're talking about that overconfidence and the calculated confidence.
But confidence is sometimes, you know, mistaken with stupidity.
I don't know, Lothar. That seems like a conversation we're gonna have to take up with TJ in the back. But regardless, Ray's got the Totem Golem. The Heroic Strike counters it quite easily. He's going to need to find something here to take back this board. Generally, the Aggro Shaman versus the Pirate Warrior is reasonably favored for the Aggro Shaman. Feral Spirits and simply the ability to roll the Stoneclaw Totem can really help them edge out the game.
That is true. Feral Spirits is insane in this matchup because most likely they are just 2 for 1. Even though you pay 5 mana with the Overload, of course, included, but it's just a huge roadblock for the warrior, especially if the weapon is an example 2 attack, right? It's an upgraded Nizov first made weapon, or like even few War Axe is not really a great answer to it. You need to lose a lot of damage output, and you lose time because you need to sacrifice 2 turns to do that. So definitely a good matchup for the Shaman, but at the same time, it's a good matchup when you don't draw like this.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of insane. Second patches, the portal will help, and we just saw that Feral Spirit is being drawn as well, so this might actually turn around.
Okay, the Mean Street Marshal actually is really, really good with the Flame Tongue Totem.
That is actually insane. Yeah, you're correct. The Flame Tongue Totem will help to get another draw here, and it might be super important just to get ahead on the board. That's
now, of
really
course,
insane.
Astrogation has the other Argent Horse Rider in hand. He could choose to trade into the Mean Street Marshal. But if you're the Pirate Warrior, how much do you really want to trade? Granted, this is a matchup of board control more so than your average Pirate Warrior matchup. But it's going to be interesting to see if Ray can get some value off of that Marshal and maybe give himself another card.
It's about the outs. An example here, if Astrogation will play the Crocodile Elite, he might count how many cards will deal 2 damage. So if he trades into the Marshal, he knows that in example 2 Jade Claws were already used. Right? And what are the other cards that deal 2 damage? It's a Spell Power Portal, an example, but 1 portal was used. What are the chances of drawing a Thalnos with the second one, right? So there was some merit to actually use the Crocodile Elite and just be more mana efficient.
Well, Astrogation decided to instead use his Dagger Mastery hero power and upgrade, clear off that Marshal, which rolls Ray into a really nice, very clean Feral Spirits and Flame Tongue Totem. The Bloodsail Cultist, however, coming down and going to start clearing off those wolves. Well, that's a big draw, Lothar.
It is a big draw. I wanted to just backtrack for a second because now Astrogation looks like a genius because of the fact that he played the weapon instead of the Crocodile Elite, because that cultist was an insane draw for turn 5. He just upgraded his weapon to deal with the wolves. So that was super important. He wasn't able to do that if he had played the Crocodile Elite last turn. So that was really well done.
And Dagger Mastery isn't a hero power you usually want to get as the Pirate Warrior, but in this case, Astrogation would not have had a weapon had he not taken this hero power, so it's allowing him to utilize cards such as the Bloodsail Cultist, the Small Time Buccaneer. Wow, Astrogation
is going
face.
I think that's a very good decision, especially just calculating how much damage do you have next turn, right? Your opponent has a 9 damage. He played already patches, so you know that it's not gonna be another charge minion. He played 1 Lightning Bolt. No, he didn't play Lightning Bolt. That was Portal. So there's not that much damage output for 5 mana available. It's like just Lava Burst, and well, you can squeeze probably 1 Lightning Bolt because that's the chance of having it, right? But it's not lethal, and you can set up lethal for next turn with your own setup, and you still will have 4 mana next turn alongside that Horse Rider, so you can use a bash. Wait, is he playing a bash? Let me see. It's the Mortal Strike version, right? No.
Yeah. Some of the lists are choosing to cut the Mortal Strike in favor of the
It's
bash.
actually
It
not
looks like
playing
he has 2 copies of the Argent Horse Rider.
Yeah.
Is his choice for tech choice in this matchup, and I don't see a Leroy either. It looks like his deck tops out at 2 Arcanite Reapers. Let's see how Ray is going to go about navigating this. He can actually just choose to use, that Flame Tongue Totem to trade into the Buccaneer, and 9 damage to the face. Ray is saying, I don't think you have lethal. And I don't think Astrogation does either. He has what looks to be 10. He can go through the Taunt Totem with the Argent Horse Rider, but he's coming up just ever so short.
The Taunt Totem was crucial. So that really
very
helps
much so.
A lot. Floating Berserker is a little bit late to the party, so now Astrogation needs to kill the Flame Tongue Totem, but it's still really close to being dead.
Do you think, I mean, honestly, I think he might double trade into the Flame Wraith.
It might be the case.
The Flame Tongue Totem by itself doesn't represent any threat, and then he's still left at 13 with a huge frothing and a 2-1 on board.
That is true. That is very true, and also very important that rayC is now coming into turn 8 without any overload.
Yeah.
So a lot of options are, will be presented to him when it comes to combination of two cards. Obviously, the most depressing one for Astrogation would have been the Azure into Lava Burst, because that's 6 damage the same turn, and still a draw, alongside the Flaming Faces that represents lethal. So a good call from Astrogation to trade, and well, he's still ahead.
Yeah, he's going to go with the full trade, clear up the Flame Tongue as well. He sacrifices 3 damage to face, but firmly puts himself in the driver's seat when it comes to the board. And like you were saying, Azure Drake, Lava Burst, now Ray has suddenly swung this board position ever so slightly back into his favor. The Aggro Shaman's minions are bigger than the Pirate Warrior in the mid to late game, but this is a race to the face. Ray needs to be able to close out this game before Astro can, and it is going to be close.
And you just said it's gonna become a race, right? And I was like, wait, why did that Flamer Faces didn't get played?
No, he played the Azure Drake and the Lava Burst. He wanted that extra draw. If he could pick up second Feral Spirits, the game's over.
Yeah,
so Ray sacrificed 3 damage this turn and instead went for the draw. That is the exact roll that he needed. There is nothing that gives Astrogation lethal this turn now. And with Jade Lightning, that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
Ray's gonna have lethal on the following turn. He's gonna take this series.
But with if he would have played the Flaming Faces instead of Azure Drake, he would have set up lethal in 2 turns, not in 3. Like without the draw. You know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting choice. I would like to hear his thoughts about that. But congrats, he won. It's 3-2.
My prediction stays on the board, Lothar.
Yeah,
I'm putting up a fight.
It's
well,
close.
Ray's putting up a fight. But.
It's close because he has 2 losses, right? So it might be the case that he will not advance, even though he will be winning. But yeah. We'll see.
Absolutely appropriate that we saw both Hotmeowth and rayC pick up victories. They are teammates, after all, running the same lineup. But let's get back to Raven and Sawdle and check out what the next main match is going to be.